Okay. Hello, everybody. This is Average Row. I'm trying to just get used to this because we are doing something new for the first time on my channel. I'm not sure if like my whole setup is the best right now, but we're just gonna work with it. Um, this is my first time streaming with my new system on my channel, and I'm pretty excited. It's pretty early in the morning. This is what I'm calling a coffee stream on my channel, just without the coffee, because I actually don't drink coffee. So, yeah, we are here with Mass Effect 2 Legendary Edition. This is my first time playing the Legendary Edition. I have played Mass Effect 2 and just the whole trilogy multiple times. And I just want to take a quick moment here because this is going up on my YouTube channel. And like I said, this is my first time doing this. If you haven't checked out my face reveal and channel update video that I uploaded a few days ago, I highly suggest checking that out just so you can kind of keep up with my headspace and where I'm at right now when it comes to making content. But basically, long story short, I have decided to stop editing videos and uploading them to YouTube, and then keeping my Twitch content separate. You know, I would record and upload my blind playthroughs of games on YouTube, and then I would just stream myself playing random games either by myself or with my friends on Twitch. But I have basically switched to doing Twitch exclusively for all of my gameplay, all of my content, and uploading my streams onto YouTube. And I basically did that just because my job situation changed. I have less time to record and edit. Also, my editing software is just not the best anymore. It's not working for me. And basically, by just streaming and uploading exclusively, I'm going to be getting through games much faster. I'll be able to play more games more frequently, so I'm really excited about that. And I'll be able to interact with anybody in chat if they stop by. So pretty excited about that. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and get started here. My biggest concern right now isn't anything about me being awkward on cam, because that's expected. I haven't really done this ever. It's really my technical setup, because again, I'm pretty newbie when it comes to OBS or just streaming and doing live commentary with Facecam. But I don't even know if my voice is synced up with my camera right now, or if the entire time I was talking to you guys, my light was just like glaring in my glasses or something. But we're flying by the seat of our pants, and we're just gonna get going. Yeah, we are in Mass Effect 2. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit resume, I believe. I think my camera setup is pretty decent. Maybe it's too bright. I don't know. Is my face looking okay? Let me see if I can like turn this down. Okay. How about that? I don't want to be too bright, but literally my first time using a photography light. So, but yeah, we are Jane Shepard. We are a Paragon, FemShep, Vanguard, I believe, and we're doing pretty good. And because, just real quick, this is more of a Mass Effect 2 update on how my playthrough is going. Since, I said my recording software was not working, or not my recording, my editing software wasn't working, I basically lost like an hour and a half, not really an hour and a half, probably like an hour 15 of footage of me playing Mass Effect 2. I mean, I still have it, and I could upload that raw footage, but it's not at the quality that I would want, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of dead time because, I didn't think that I wouldn't be editing. I usually just cut out the dead time, and, it's like 4 separate recordings of a single session, so I didn't want to upload like a 10-minute video of me just like, playing the game without any edits, so I decided I'm just gonna like move on from that. It was Freedom's Progress, and then my Normandy 2 or SR2 exploration. That we're going to be missing out on. But again, it's not that it's not important, but if I'm going to miss any Mass Effect 2 content with my playthrough on my channel, then that I'm not too bothered by that. Freedom's Progress is, we basically investigate a colony that got abducted by the Collectors recently. And we run into Tally and help her and her team out there. And basically, again, we discover that the Collectors are the real threat here. and they've been abducting human colonies. So and then we got onto the Normandy. SR2 got it back, got Joker back, and I basically went around, talked to everybody, talked to Kelly, Ken and Gabby, and engineering, obviously Jacob and Miranda. And yeah, just kind of got acclimated with our new setup. Oh, Edie as well. I kind of figured about Edie. So yeah, that's basically all we've missed out, and we are getting right into missions right now. I always think some purists might not think this is a good idea, or it kind of ruins the integrity of your run. But I think if you're chill, then you understand. I think it's a good idea to keep a guide open at all times, even if you've played through the trilogy multiple times. And I just realized now it is likely that the light was in my glasses basically the entire time I'm talking to you guys. I'll adjust that later because I'm going to be facing this way most of the time anyway. But anyway, I do think it's a good idea to keep a guide with you. Like, I have the Mass Effect wiki open, and it streamlines your game, because even if you play through multiple times, it's you can't, I mean, unless you're just a mega fan, like, it's difficult to remember off the top of your head where to go for certain missions, you know, or any prerequisites or warnings you need to refresh yourself on before doing a mission in Mass Effect. You know, because the last thing you want to do is jump into a mission unprepared and then have to, like, you know, if you did something you didn't want to do, then just restart. You know, obviously for your first time ever playing Mass Effect, I don't suggest using a wiki or a guide or anything like that, because, like, reading through it, you might read something that spoils something. You know what I mean? But if you've played through it before, I think keeping the wiki open with you, like on the side on I have it on my phone or on a computer if you have it next to your console or wherever you're playing it on. I think it's just a good idea, because you don't need to go trudging through the journal. You know, you can just look at your list of missions you want to do and then open the wiki. You have, like, where you need to go, what you need to bring, or, like, what you need to prep for, if anything. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started. I'm thinking of doing the N7 wrecked merchant freighter. But as I'm looking through this, I do think... Oh, wait, no. I'm mixing it up with another one. Yeah, I'm mixing it up with another one. This is a good one to do. There's this one mission... and if you've played through Mass Effect 2, you might recognize the mission I'm talking about here. There's this one mission where there's basically a bunch of cargo. I think it's like 16 units of cargo, and there are low-key mechs, like the big ones, walking around, and they're basically destroying the cargo, and you have to kill them as quickly as possible to save as much cargo, because the more cargo you save, the more XP and resources you get. And I don't really like that one. I think it's a terrible mission, but I usually wait until I have, like, a full charge of the cane. I think it's like the M920 cane, where you just blow them all up in one go and save as much cargo as possible. So I thought that's what I had on my list here for some reason, but it's a different mission. Yeah, I just realized we have planet scanning to do. See, this is where I would add in, like, an edit of, like, a sad someone crying or something, because planet scanning, again, if you played Mass Effect 2, is just not fun. They added in Mass Effect 2 and they quickly scrapped it for the sequel. But we are in the Omega Nebula, conveniently right next to Omega, which is where we are trying to get to eventually. But we are not going to be going there just yet. Let's see. Yeah, I need more probes and fuel. I guess I could just, like, hold it down. That works too. I always just mash it just because it makes me feel better. Also don't know if my sound levels are good, but we're just going to roll with it. It's our first time. Yeah, as you can see in the Amada system, we got the Normandy Crash Site DLC. We are not going to go there. Let's see. We need to go to the Eagle Nebula. Oh, conveniently, that's where we get Grunt. But we're going to go ahead. You know what? Actually, are there any planets here we can get scanning out? Everyone has their different philosophies when it comes to planet scanning. Like, if your philosophy is every single planet from 100% or wherever it started to 0% depleted, you're going to be wasting a lot of time. You actually don't need that many resources to get everything you need in the game. Not just want, need as well. You don't need that much. My philosophy is any system I visit for a mission, I'm going to scan every planet. By every planet, I mean any planet that is at least higher than moderate level. I think it goes rich. I actually don't remember. It's like rich, then good, then moderate, then poor, and then depleted. If it's at moderate, I don't even bother with it because there's not much to be gotten there anyway. If it's like at rich or good, I'm only gonna scan it until it's moderate. And then once I get it to moderate, I move on to the next one. I've found that if you do that, you'll eventually get all the resources necessary you need. I mean, I could be wrong at that, and I could have, but I've never been like, man, I really need resources. I've never had to sidetrack my gameplay because I realized I'm out of resources and I need to scan a couple planets quickly. As long as I've scanned every planet that's rich or good in a system that I've traveled to for a mission, I've been good. So I highly suggest following that. But again, if you're a completionist or whatever, then you can do your own thing. But the planet scanning is such a supplementary thing that I just don't bother with it if I can help it. You know what I mean? So we're gonna hop into here. Start the scanner up. Rich. Okay, boom. So we're gonna go ahead and just go through this. I've debated on like doing this like off screen, but I don't know. I want to. Now that I'm doing this new system, I can afford to just keep it in, and maybe I can just like chat about random topics. But I might maybe if I find myself with some free time, but it's not during one of my streaming time frames. I might just like hop on and get some of the planet scanning out of the way, because I know this is not what people typically want to see. You know what I mean? Me just like doing this, essentially a mobile game in Mass Effect 2 live on stream. But it's a necessary part of the game. You do miss out on a lot of stuff if you don't bother scanning. I mean, the most important things in the game, like it's technically optional, but it's mandatory in my opinion. Is the ship upgrades? Because if you don't do upgrade your ship, I think it's the shields, the armor, and the weapons, the Thanix cannon. If you don't get those, you're gonna lose teammates in the suicide mission. And again, if you guys have played through this game, you already know that. But I'm kind of treating it. I'm trying to speak as if I got people who've never played Mass Effect, along with people who have played Mass Effect, are all watching, just to kind of be nice to everybody. But those are the only mandatory ones. But there are also so many super helpful things you can buy with resources. Oh, it's moderate, actually. Let's go ahead and move on. Got distracted there a little bit. But other than the obvious like weapon upgrades and armor upgrades that you need resources to purchase for your character and your ship or squad mates or whatever it might be for, other than the obvious thing there, you can get things like, if you don't like the facial scars, you can, I guess, expedite the healing process if you have enough. I don't remember which of the resources it is. I think it's platinum, but don't quote me on that. That one's moderate, so just gonna move on. Let's see. I'm used to I just got off Mass Effect 1, and whenever I see an asteroid belt, I'm used to flying over it. But I think in Mass Effect 2, if there's something to scan, it shows up. I don't think there are anything hidden in Mass Effect 2. I could be remembering that incorrectly, but it's not super important if I'm remembering it incorrectly. But see, because you don't even need to scan or deplete a planet for the thing in the top left there under the name to go to 100%. You just need to visit and visit every single planet essentially in the system. So we have finished the I'm not even gonna attempt to say that, Sorabaric. I'm gonna say Sorabaric system here in the Omega Nebula. I don't know if my terminology is the best there, but Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Yeah, you get to like the facial scars healed. Hold on, where am I going? How do I get? Oh yeah, I need to go to a mass relay. Oh, really quick. Another trick is if you position your ship in a specific way, you can enter the system on that side. So basically, if you see my little ship here that I'm moving around, it's facing left. If it's facing left, I'm gonna enter on the right side of the system, right? And if I, that's not what I want to do. Go back out. If I go back out there and position it kind of like facing right, I'm gonna be entering on the left side. You see? And that mechanic it's completely useless in Mass Effect 2, except for, you know, time's sake, I guess. You know, if I'm going to the Mass Effect relay and I know it's on the right side of the system, then I'm gonna when I enter it, I'm gonna position myself like this, right? So I can enter it and I'm like right on top of it. You know what I mean? It's extremely useful though in Mass Effect 3 because if you guys have played through in Mass Effect 3, whenever you're in the systems, oftentimes Reapers will chase after you. You know, so it's good to like position yourself optimally to navigate that. Anyway, we're gonna hop in and go to the Eagle Nebula. What else is good to get with the scanning resources? Yeah, I mentioned the facial scars. Oh, like I'm pretty sure every squad mate that you recruit has an upgrade you can purchase with Morden's help. Let's see, hold on. We need to go. We are not going to be in this system here. We're in the right nebula, but we are going to the Amon system. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, as we fly over here, yeah, every squad mate has a upgrade you can get. And sometimes it's literally just you upgrade them. Like you get a really good weapon for them. I think like, for example, Grunt, you get the Claymore heavy shotgun for him, which is like the highest damage shotgun in the game. But a lot of times the squad mate will have an upgrade for you or your ship. And I think Miranda and Thane have ship upgrades that are not essential to keep a squad mate alive in a suicide mission, but they are extremely helpful. I forget which one has which. If I were to go out on a limb, I think Thane has the one that upgrades your probe capacity. You know, so you have to make less trips to a fuel depot in between scanning planets and stuff. And then Miranda increases the speed of your scanner, like your physical scanner. You can move it around way quicker. Again, which just makes doing this fun stuff much quicker. I could have that backwards. I could mix up Miranda and Thane, but I know for a fact that those two give you those. So yeah, just in general, like, just with any video game that has anything optional in a video game, it's likely that it's important to a degree to do. You know what I mean? Especially if it's not just a flat-out open world game. Like, Grand Theft Auto, I'm not about to sit here and say, like, I don't know, in GTA 5, what's a pretty useless side mission? I don't know, for whatever reason, the only one I can think of in GTA 5 is the one where you run into a paparazzi guy, and you basically help him do his job, and you get into a bunch of shenanigans. Like I think it's the first mission. Like, it's the first or second mission. You sneak into some celebrity's mansion or whatever, and you videotape them doing intimate things with another person. and then they catch you, and you have to hop on the paparazzi dude's bike and, you know, escape, and you get chased by the female celebrity, and she's like cussing and raving at you in your car, and the whole time while she's chasing you, you have to take pictures of her too, and the more pictures you take, the more money you get. I got just typical GTA things if you've ever played GTA. But in the end, I think you do 3 missions with him, and then you end up killing him in the end because he holds out on paying you or something. And it's just like, it's completely useless. It doesn't affect the story in any way. Like, and you don't even get that much money, especially in GTA terms. You know, you get like no money at all. You know what I mean? So like content like that is like pretty useless to do, I'd say. Unless you're wanting to be like a completionist, you know. But typically it's worth like checking stuff like that out. Like, so, you know, I don't even. I think the first time I played through Mass Effect 2, I scanned every single planet, and because I was like, it's important. It's Mass Effect. I learned my lesson after Mass Effect 1. You know, I gotta, because like, I don't know if I've ever told this. Like, my very first time playing Mass Effect 1 ever. Like, I didn't even ask for Mass Effect. Me and my twin brother got it for Christmas from our stepdad, and I have no idea if he knew how good the games were. I think he saw it was on the PS3 because they released this I forget what exactly it's called. It's like the Mass Effect remastered trilogy, or not remastered. No, that's the Legendary Edition. I'm blanking on what exactly it's called. Again, my editing instincts are kicking in because this is where I'd tell myself, you know, there's no worry that I don't remember what exactly it's called because I can just add it, boom, on top of my screen in editing. But anyway, it's the PS3 trilogy they released. You know, obviously originally it was out, I believe, on Xbox 360 and PC originally. It did not release on the PS3 until like a year or two later, I think. And it came as like a trilogy package where you get for one price, or maybe like, you know, instead of $60, it was like $70 or something. For a cheap price, you get all 3 games plus a couple DLC. I think it came with the extended ending. It came with Kasumi, Overlord DLC, and Shadow Broker DLC for Mass Effect 2. It didn't even come with any of the Mass Effect 1 DLC. It didn't come with Bring Down the Sky, or what's that other one, like the mini game called? I never do it, so I don't remember the name. But, you know, you guys who've played that will know what I'm talking about in Mass Effect 1. And then for Mass Effect 3, it had like no DLC at all. It didn't even have Leviathan. It didn't have Omega DLC on that. Like, you really got shafted in Mass Effect 3. Like, I had no idea. After I beat the trilogy for the first time on PS3, and it was, again, my first time playing ever. After I beat Mass Effect 3, I looked up the DLC I missed out on, and I was like, dang, there's like, oh, the Citadel DLC. It didn't have the Citadel DLC either. I didn't get around to those until I got Mass Effect on my gaming PC for the first time. Like, the first time I played through those was like a couple years ago. At that time, they'd been out for a while. But I should probably be scanning while doing this. Oh, this is the planet we want to go to. I'm going to hit the other planets first. Oh, wait, no, I already did. I've been doing a good job. I've forgotten what my point was in going off on that tangent about the PS3 trilogy. Yeah, you will notice now that I'm doing all this live and it's just being my genuine self. Like, I have pretty scatterbrained. I have a pretty scatterbrain, I guess you could call it. Let's go and get this real quick. Okay, thank you, Edie. Whoops, I did not want to exit that. Come on, here we go. All right, it's rich, so we're gonna go get this stuff. But yeah, I think I was talking about like optional stuff in games. Oh, I was talking about like my first time playing the trilogy. Yeah, he got it. My stepdad got that trilogy for us, and I'm pretty sure the only reason he got it for us is because he saw okay, 3 PS3 games for like the price of 1. Sure, I'll get that. I'll get that for them. And to this day, I thank him. Like, whenever I remember it and I'm with my stepdad, I remember just thank him. Like, thank you for buying that, because it's like my favorite video games ever. And he was like, he always says like, yeah, I had no idea you guys would like it that much. But yeah, he got that for us as a joint gift. And back then, I was still in high school, and obviously still lived with my parents and obviously all of my siblings, and I would always play story games with my brother. I never played it by myself ever. There wasn't a single game. I think the only game in high school, like, you know, out of high school and growing up, we still played all those games together too. Obviously, like Ratchet and Clank and Jack and Daxter and Sly Cooper on the PS2 and stuff. We obviously played all of those things together, as well as with our friends as well. And it wasn't any different in high school either. But I think the only game I can recall that I played without him and he played without me is Batman Arkham City. I never played that game, and I regret it to this day because I know all the stuff that happens in the story. Because I would just kind of just like be on my phone or like playing RuneScape or something on my laptop, while my brother played through the Batman Arkham City story. And if you play that game, you know that game's just incredible, and I missed out on a blind experience with that. So I'm pretty disappointed in myself for not being engaged. For whatever, like, it's not like I didn't like Batman. Like, who doesn't like Batman? I just was just super into RuneScape at the time, I think. Like, I had the grind to get to in RuneScape. Like, any RuneScape players out there will know, like, the grind just doesn't stop. If you're in it, you're in it. You know, you can't be distracted. Oh yeah, I actually played through BioShock by myself. I think my brother just didn't want to play through BioShock at all. And just gonna take Miranda and Jacob with us. BioShock Infinite, I played through by myself as well. Yeah, essentially, what I'm getting at is we played through Mass Effect 1 together. And, like, of all the games to play together with somebody else blind, I think Mass Effect is a poor choice. You know, because, again, if you don't mind sharing your thought process, like, maybe it's a thing. You know, maybe you're, like, playing with a girlfriend or a wife or a best friend or a sibling or something. And you just want to share that, you know, and that might add an interesting dynamic. But, you know, if you're playing through blind for Mass Effect, obviously, in my opinion, ideally, you'd want to play through by yourself because it's your choices, like your specific choices that influence your playthrough. I think I set up my weapons off screen in my last session, but it's nice to just look through all this. At least I think this is the mission that I'm thinking of. I sincerely hope it's not... Okay, yeah, we're good. This is the one I'm thinking about. Again, I could have, like, looked at my wiki here, but, not gonna bother. Basically, nothing happens until you get to the objective, and then a sandstorm starts, and then, like, a bunch of mechs come down, and you gotta fight your way back to the shuttle. Pretty standard setup, I feel, when it comes to Mass Effect side missions, or just missions in general. I think, like, the Overlord DLC has a section where it's like eerie, and you think something's gonna happen, but literally nothing happens until you get to the main objective, and then once you get to the main objective, everything goes down. Yeah, I want to finish my thought before I just completely forget what I was talking about again. Oh no, it's already happening. Oh no, what was I talking about? Literally none of this is important. It just adds, like, context to what happened here. I think a ship crashed, people died, but there's data here that Cerberus wants or something. I don't know. I want to make sure I get everything I can. I mean, I can still grab all this, like, on my way back from the main objective, but I'm gonna have stuff shooting at me, so I don't want to miss anything while it's calm here. Dang it, what was I just talking about? Shoot. See, like, this is like when I'd be, you know, recording for an editing edited footage. I would just literally stop playing here. I'd stop like this, and I would think, what the hell was I just talking about? Ah, I remember. Yeah, so I played my very first time playing. I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at myself. My very first time playing through Mass Effect 1, I was playing with my brother, and I gotta tell you, and he will attest to this, our playthrough was absolute dog crap. It was so bad. We, like, didn't do hardly any side missions. Didn't have, like, there's so many instances where, like, morality or, like, Paragon or Renegade dialogue options were grayed out because we didn't have enough morality or Renegade. But thankfully we were able to, like, save Rex and things like that. Like, and that's what I'm saying. That's how I know. If you watch through my Mass Effect 1 Legendary Edition playthrough, I commented, or no, I think it was my, well, it might have been my, like, blind playthrough of Mass Effect 1 Legendary Edition, but also my Clone Shepherd run, Mass Effect 1. I mentioned how if you want Rex to die, or even if you don't want Rex to die, if you have no idea that he can die on Vermeer, you have to like go out of your way to kill him. You either have to say, I want to be a full-on renegade and just kill him because he's like yelling at me and trying to like insubordinate me or whatever. Or if you're a Paragon and you don't want Rex to die, you have to like go out of your way to kill him. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just that, and that's how I know, because like our playthrough was just so bad in Mass Effect 1, but even we at the time managed to save him. You know what I mean? But it did not set me up well. You know, and the reason I wanted to get into that was because it did not set me up well for the rest of the trilogy. And Mass Effect 2, Tali died in the suicide mission. You know what I mean? As did Morden. I lost Tali and Morden, arguably two of the most important squad mates to keep. Even if you don't like them that much, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but even if you don't like them that much, in Mass Effect 2 or Mass Effect 3, like they're a huge part of the two main acts leading up to Miranda's like doing her own thing. Two main acts leading up to like the finale, you know, the Genophage act, curing the Genophage act. Like Morden plays a huge part, and I didn't have him my first time playing through Mass Effect 3. And obviously the Quarian and Geth conflict, you know, after that, Tali is like the central part of that with alongside Legion, you know, and I didn't have Tali. And I think I forget why I initially got into explaining how terrible my initial playthrough was. But I think it was just basically to explain, like, you know, why it's important to get resources or like be thorough or something. I don't remember, but that's that story. We're gonna go ahead and get this started here. But yeah, all we do is just fight back now. There's nothing else we need to do. Oh, I missed that. Oh, no, I didn't. I remember looking at that. Oh, just to be transparent with you guys, part of me is glad I lost that footage of me playing on Freedom's Progress. Because I died like 3 times on the easiest part. I don't know what it is. Maybe, you know, the arrogant side of me wants to say maybe they increased the difficulty. But I know that's just not true. I know they did not like low-key make this game harder. There's just no way. And I think I have this set. Maybe it's because I'm playing on Veteran, and usually once I get to like Mass Effect 2 or 3, if I'm like not recording or anything and just playing for fun, I play at normal or sometimes even casual, because I really don't care about the combat. So maybe I'm just a little rusty when it comes to playing on Veteran difficulty, because I just haven't done that in a while. But again, I wanted to do Veteran because I do feel like if you're being challenged a little bit in your game, it makes for more interesting and engaging gameplay. You know, because you're actually trying your best, and you're not just like, it's not just a cakewalk. Unless people want to watch like someone be really good, but I feel like they'd want the difficult. If they're wanting to see like some high level gameplay of a game, I feel like they're wanting to. They would prefer them playing on like a higher difficulty. So I don't know. I guess that's what I'm at least attempting to deliver. And the Soldier, I usually play on Soldier too. You know, some people might be like, oh, Soldier's so boring, but like statistically, you know, BioWare's, you know, they release stats about the classes that get picked, and Soldier is far and away the highest picked class. And I think that's less of the fact, or that I feel like that's not necessarily saying that Soldier's the best. I think it's the default. It's the, you know, it is the default. If you go like with, you know, preset male or FemShep, Soldier is the default class. So on top of the fact, it's familiar. You know, if someone's like, they just want to play it safe, they don't want to do anything crazy, then they just pick Soldier. So, but yeah, I usually pick Soldier. So I'm not the best Vanguard. Like, this is my first time playing as a FemShep Vanguard. I've played as a Vanguard before, as a male Shep in one of my previous runs, but I am nowhere near the best Vanguard. And you know, if you watch my Mass Effect 1 playthrough, you'll know that, you know, I'm really not the best. I will say, I do think, again in that lost footage, I mentioned that I am gonna play it safe in the early levels while I'm still leveling up and whatnot, because at least to my understanding, Vanguards really lend itself to just going in. Like, you know, charging in, doing biotic slams. I don't even know if biotic slam is in Mass Effect 2. I think that might only be in Mass Effect 3. I think I have Shockwave eventually, or that might be Mass Effect 3 too. I don't know. Again, I don't play Vanguard as much, so I don't know off the top of my head what skills I have available to me in Mass Effect 2. But yeah, like once I get all of my biotic abilities as well as upgrade them to decent levels, then you'll see me start being a little bit more adventurous. But as you can see, even just with these basic mechs, if I pop out for a couple seconds, and since this is veteran difficulty, my shields get pretty shredded. So I'm gonna play it safe just a little bit. And as I say that, I almost die. Yeah, I am gonna try to play it safe. I say try, because I am trying, but I'm still like dying. Try to play it safe during these early levels. For some reason I thought triangle was to bring up my menu, my weapons menu. Shoot. I mean, all the Vanguards are probably like, finally he uses biotic charge. Didn't mean to do that, but yeah, I think I'm out of ammo. Yeah, I'm out of ammo already. Like, what the heck? That's crazy. But I think, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Biotic charge that guy. Yeah, alright. So yeah, that is that mission. It's taking a lot longer than I typically would have anticipated, but I think it's just because I was talking a lot. I don't know, I'm just trying to avoid dead time, you know what I mean? Being a new streamer. Not a new streamer, but again, I'm not used to like streaming games I would have recorded, typically. I don't know if you noticed, like, that's kind of like a ritual I started whenever I play through Mass Effect 2. Stay hydrated. I'm a firm believer that a cold glass of water in the morning, and doing that consistently, is much healthier, and it does what a cup of coffee does, just slower, but longer lasting. You know, so if you want to talk video game terms, a cup of coffee is that instant heal, you know, but it'll have like a debuff eventually. You know what I mean? Or like it'll like boost your health, and then like your health will slowly return to the state it started in. You know what I mean? Whereas water, it's an over time heal, but it gets you to that health, that part in your health bar, and it just keeps it there. You know, no negative effects. Like a cold glass of water in the morning. I'm not talking about a couple gulps, you know, like drink a whole glass throughout your morning routine, or like throughout breakfast. You know, it does, over time, it does better than a cup of coffee. Which is why I kind of chose like to call this like a coffee stream on my channel, my Sunday and Saturday mornings, just because like I don't drink coffee. So it's kind of like a PSA. Like, you know, it's called coffee stream, but drink water instead. Anyway, and of course, just like that, I forgot what the hell I was talking about. Oh, I just got water all over my mouse pad. I have like one of those like extra large mouse pads that kind of like cover your desk, kind of. Anyway, I'll remember what I was talking about eventually, hopefully. See, I'm attempting to remember it. It's not that important. Anyway, we're going to move on to our next mission, N7 Abandoned Research Station. So I'm going to go ahead, like I said, look that up real quick. Abandoned Research Station. It's just an N7 mission. Like, that one N7 mission, it usually doesn't take me that long. But just because I've been talking a lot, took longer than expected. Okay, here we go. It says it's going to be in the Strabo system. Oh, this is the same nebula then. Ugh, dang it, I always do that. I know I'm not the only one that does that. It says exit, you know, and you want to like exit the system, but not the whole thing. But the exit button just brings you out of the whole thing, and you have to like fly yourself out. Oh, is that all the way on the other end? I think it is. Yeah, okay, we're gonna stop by here, refuel a little bit. Dang, I'm really bothered that I forgot what I was talking about. Again, it wasn't super interesting, but just the principle of it, talking about something and forgetting what you're talking about, I don't like it. I don't know. We'll just move on, I guess. I'm gonna have to get used to it, and so are you all. I'm gonna forget everything I talk about, so if you ever watch this live, or I guess not even live, if you ever watch this, like if I'm like talking about something you're interested in and then I switch topics real quick, get nervous because that topic is probably gonna get lost in the shuffle here. Moderate, so we're not gonna bother. Yeah, so this is a sequel to the mission we just did. I think it's a string of 2 or 3 missions that I just get off right off the bat. Not because they're bad necessarily, but they're available to do, and they're pretty easy. Excuse me, they're pretty easy. So I always just like get them out right away before I head to Omega. Hopefully we'll get to Omega. I mean, how long have I been streaming? Yeah, I haven't even been at it for an hour. So we're on the short side of an hour, so plenty of time. Plenty of time. Yeah, I finished my... Oh, I think it was on... commenting on, like, my Vanguard capabilities or something. Like, why I'm not really the best at it. But, yeah. Overload or Warp. I usually like Warp if I have more squad mates for Miranda. You know, because, like, there are other teammates that have Overload, like Garrus, that I just prefer being my overload go-to. But since we only have Miranda and Jacob, I feel like we'll go with Overload, because I don't think Morden has... Does Morden have Overload? I know he has... What does he have? He has Incinerate, AI hacking or something. I don't know. You know what? We'll play it safe. We'll go Warp, because, you know, Miranda's the biotic, right? So we'll go... I hit automatic upgrade. That's what I wanted to... There we go. Jeez. Pool or incendiary? I wonder. Pool. Obvious. Incendiary ammo. It's one of those you can legit just leave it. Like, there's some skills or like abilities in Mass Effect, not just Mass Effect 2, just in general, that some people call... I forget what they call it, but yeah, I forget what they call it, but essentially it's a skill that if it's on level 1, it does the vast majority of its utility. Like, the upgrades later on don't really do that much. Like, in Mass Effect 1, I think BioWare was still trying to figure out the the balance of some of their skills progression, and some of them they nailed, some of them were like just straight up OP, and some of them, like, most of the utility was like once you unlock the skill, and like all the other upgrades were like pretty useless. And the ammo powers are definitely one of them, I feel, at least in my opinion. It increases like elemental damage, but even at level 1, incendiary ammo has a good chance of like causing enemies to like organic enemies to like freak out when you hit them or things like that. And it does the job. So I always focus on the biotics or the tech abilities, and then I once I've upgraded those to my heart's content, then I upgrade the ammo powers. And now that I'm glad I got on that tangent, because I realized that I just messed up. But that's okay. I remember I was holding on to those squad points because I was saving up to get 4 for our... It was literally one more level up, I'm pretty sure, is all we needed to get 4. And we could have maxed out the Cerberus Operative and, like, basically their class abilities, which is what I always prioritize. But that's okay. I mean, I'm not going to complain about having level 2 in Warp and Pool. So, anyway, let's keep it moving here. Don't remember. I think this is the one where, yeah, everyone's dead. And there's, like, puzzles to solve. I hope I do well on them. The first time I did this DLC, it took me like, I remember it taking me not like crazy long, but longer than I would have liked to get through this station and its puzzles. but I played through Mass Effect 2 recently before this playthrough, or before the Legendary Edition came out, just kind of like in preparation, and I actually did pretty well on this mission. So more of that, please. We are not going to read through any of this mumbo jumbo. Again, it just adds context, but I actually don't remember what happened here. Restore power, grab that. Alright, try to speedrun this. Yeah, you get your gun out, but I don't recall there being any... Or there's like hardly any enemies here. So essentially, we want to get in here, and we want to shut down that computer. And to do that, we need to like unlock these doors. And to do that, we need to go solve a puzzle on either side of the console. Yeah, there's like 3 little areas we have to go to. I don't remember which one's which. I'll remember them once I get to them. Like there's one with a maze with like a bunch of dangerous steam that damages you. And then there's like a puzzle where you need to like reflect stuff, which I think this is the one. Yeah, this one's the easiest one. And I hope I don't make a fool of myself. Yeah, so we need to like redirect this beam to that piece of metal. Oh. And then we are going to have that pass through. And then this one we're going to... Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to do actually. For that one. I thought I was controlling this one then. And this one we're just going to turn around. There we go. And that's it. Dope. Alright. That is that puzzle. So I think we'll get like a little indication that yeah, it's like green now. Yeah, the lights are green on that side, so just move on to the next one here. I think this is the hardest part. Yeah, I suck at this part. I always like die or almost die. And it's like oh! See? And the squad mates, they get damaged by it. And they don't move. If you don't move, they don't move to safety. They will literally, if you're not moving and like they're just positioned in front of those heat vents and they're getting damaged, they literally won't move unless you move. So, I don't know. The Mass Effect squad mate AI has never been the exemplary example. Exemplary example? Does that even make sense? They've never been good examples of... I don't want to say good, as see, they're dead. There's been better squad mate AI in other games, like Mass Effect 3. But even Mass Effect 3, the squad mates aren't the best. Yeah, I feel like other games have done squad mates better in terms of gameplay. Yeah, once you get the power up, I believe the vents are turned off, as per usual in games like this, and we're going to move back. And then that quote-unquote conflict is over, so our squad mates come back. Yeah, I'm going to take this time, just because I remembered it, to kind of like update you guys. And I'll say this multiple times, but in these early episodes with this new system. But I have decided that... Oh, I'm getting turned around here. Okay, that's where we came. That was the mirror puzzle. That's where we just came from. Yeah, this one, I would not be surprised if you admit that you just button mashed and hoped for the best. Because it's kind of like, it's one of those that are like hard to fall. Like, it's one of those puzzles you have to discover the mechanics. Like, it's not like absolutely apparent right away, like the mirror one. Like this one, you have to like discover, okay, this does this does that, so I have to do this, things like that. Whoa, I just rhymed. I mean, it was that with that, but still, that was pretty good. Do I have to press something? Yeah, here we go. Ah, yes, okay. So, yeah, we have to unlock the doors. That door. And we have to make sure that door is open. Like, all the doors need to be green, I think. Because then we need to get out of this room, go in there, and then go there. If you've played, I'm just gonna reference games I've played before. RuneScape, and I know most of you have at least played RuneScape when you were a kid, unless you're like 10 today. You know what I mean? Then RuneScape is before your time. But if you're around my age group or older, like RuneScape, there's this quest. It's called Ernest the Chicken in Drainer Manor, and you had to like rescue this wife's husband who got turned into a chicken by a mad scientist living in the manor, and he just needs to repair the machine, and you need to get an oil can, and the oil can is in a cellar, not a cellar, like kind of like a basement area with a bunch of jail cells, and there are a bunch of levers around the room, and it'll unlock. Each lever unlocks specific doors or gates and locks others. So you have to like figure out which ones are which, and then pull the levers in the right order to create a path to the oil can and then out of the maze. It's basically just like this. Like some of these buttons will unlock certain doors but lock others.
One door enabled.
So I just push buttons. Oh, let's go. We did it. See what I mean? Had no idea what I was doing, but I just felt it. You know? But yeah, like, real quick, back to that Ernest the Chicken quest. Like, it was like a low-level quest. Like, you could do that if you were maybe level 10, maybe, which is, in RuneScape terms, is not high at all. And the only danger is there's like this rubber hose you need to get that's guarded by a skeleton that is pretty strong if you're like a super new player. But you don't even need to kill it. You can just run in and run out, and just make sure you get out before he kills you, you know. But that puzzle, like, little third graders were not ready for that puzzle. Like, again, if you've played through that, you know what I'm talking about. It's just not scaled the best. Like a puzzle that difficult should not be that low of a level. But we have done the mission.
Intruder detected. You are not authorized to be in this area. This is a secure zone. Please leave this.
Okay, I think when my brother, so me and my brother, we played through Mass Effect 1. We played through Mass Effect 1 together, but after that we kind of learned our lesson, and we played through Mass Effect 2 separately. He was one of those where he didn't care if it was his first playthrough. He didn't want anyone to die, right? And Mass Effect 2 did not, let's just say Mass Effect 2 did not go well for him because it didn't go well for me, you know? So, and he did not help himself, because if you know, I wasn't really planning on getting into this conversation this early into the game, but it's for the suicide mission. For the suicide mission, again, spoiler alert if you haven't played Mass Effect 2 yet, which if you haven't, why are you watching? Let me go ahead and, I'm going to pick that, I'm going to remember. But I want to keep these side missions moving because I want to get to Omega before this session is over. And we have one more mission to do. N7 Han Keter facility. As I remind myself what I was talking about. Okay, we are going to be in the Titan Nebula. Okay, let's do it. But yeah, in Mass Effect 2, again, spoiler alert, if you, like, once your crewmates get abducted, you have to go straight to the final mission, or else X amount of side crew members will die, i.e. Kelly, Ken and Gabby, or Dr. Chakwas. They will, or Rupert. I think Rupert, the chef, is in that category as well. If you do not go immediately, like, I think if you do one mission in between your crewmates getting abducted and then the suicide mission, if you do one mission, I think, like, I think like a couple of them die. And then if you do 2 or more missions in between the abduction and the suicide mission, then they all die. And that's obviously a big no-no. You do not want that to happen. And I bring this up because I'm pretty sure the mission I just did was one of those missions that my brother did on his very first playthrough. He did it in between, because he was like, okay, I definitely feel like this is like the right before the final mission, which he was right, it was. But what he didn't realize was that there was a sense of urgency. And, you know, I don't really like, you know, I feel like a lot of players might make that mistake. You know what I mean? They might see that, they might, you know, their gaming instincts kick in and they say, you know, I get the feeling that this is right before the end. And they're right, it is. But, where is it? Titan Nebula. Yeah, they're right, it is. But their gaming instincts also kick in and say, well, if it's right before the last mission, I want to make sure that I do everything I can. So if there's any side missions I haven't done, I want to get to those now. And then they end up, unfortunately, going and doing those and then sacrificing some probably beloved crew members in the process, just for that little bit of XP or that little bit of, you know, resources, you know. So the game kind of tests you in the sense, like, can you immerse yourself enough to realize that all statements and evidence is pointing towards the fact that this is now really urgent. You have to go, or else they're gonna kill your squad. You know what I mean? So I thankfully did just so happen to have all my side missions done before that. So I went straight on my first playthrough. I went straight to the suicide mission, and I did not lose Chakwas, Kelly, or Ken and Gabby, or Rupert. But he did not. I remember I didn't want to like correct him or anything, and I think it was too late because I saw him talking to that AI head, and I was like, shoot, has the crew got abducted yet? I wasn't quite sure at the time. You know what I mean? So yeah, and then on top of that, he ended up making some wrong decisions in the suicide mission, and he lost. I think he lost like Tally and Jacob or something, some weird combination. But all that mattered to him was that he lost Tally, because like many of you out there, Tally was his favorite character. He romanced her as soon as she was available. We romanced Ashley in Mass Effect 1, and funnily enough, that was his choice. You know, I wanted to romance Liara because I wanted some of that blueberry. You know what I mean? But he was like, no, I want to do Ashley. You know, and I was like, you and like 2 other people. I only kid for you Ashley stans if they exist. Yeah, we romanced Ashley, but as soon as like he realized that Tally was available to romance in Mass Effect 2, he was like, yeah. So, but unfortunately he lost his love in the suicide mission, and he literally was like, all right, I'm done. He didn't want to play. He didn't want to play Mass Effect 2. He didn't want to play Mass Effect 3. But if any of you out there, Mass Effect fans are out there, and you played through Mass Effect 3 and you had a friend who was really into it, but then was just heartbroken, like, you would have done what I did, and that was bug him until he got over it and either played through all of Mass Effect 2, 1 and 2, or whatever, and played through the rest of the trilogy, because it's not an experience you want to miss out on. Man, it is still rich. This is nuts. But I am glad we are getting Ezo. Oh my goodness. Still going. Saw a little spike here. But funny enough, I was so desperate for him to play the rest of the trilogy so I could talk to him about it, that I negotiated with him. I was like, what do I need to do to get you to play this game again? And he was like, he doesn't want to lose anybody. And that's understandable. He doesn't want to lose anybody. And I think I made the decision. I was like, well, we need to get you a new Mass Effect 1 save, because the Mass Effect 1 save that we had, that we made when we first played through, it's just not good enough. Wait, why am I leaving? Last side mission here. So I literally played through Mass Effect 1 by myself all over again on our shared PS3. I played through it all over again as a soldier, like basically the same class that we were. We were basically custom or preset male. We were like, I think, Soul Survivor, Spacer, Soldier, male shep. Played through it just like that. And with my, at this point I had beaten the trilogy once, the whole way through. So I had a general idea of how to play optimally. I didn't remember at that time. I hadn't played through enough to like remember specific missions or what to do. I just knew I had to be as thorough as possible, and I ended up getting a really good. I didn't do any of the DLC because we didn't have it at the time, but I think it was it was a very solid playthrough. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Okay, this mission is super easy. Well, I say super easy, but there's combat, but there's no puzzles or anything like that. It's just fighting a bunch of people. And they're just humans, I think. No, humans and mechs, I think. But yeah, I got a pretty good playthrough of Mass Effect 1. Good enough to set him up well for Mass Effect 2. And I made this this little guide, like a spoiler-free guide of like how to play through Mass Effect 2 and what to do specifically. And it was good. Like making something like that for someone who's never played Mass Effect 2, it's tricky. Because you run the more useful it is, the more spoilery it is, And if you want to just completely avoid any type of spoilers or hints or inclinations even, it's not going to be that helpful of a guide. Because you can't just say, I don't know, how do you explain your crew getting abducted and going straight to the final mission? Like you can't say when you play as a character other than Shepard. Because yes, it doesn't reveal that you play as Joker, but that's a pretty good twist. It's a big twist. Like you're all like, okay, well then, because he told me that, then I know that at some point I'm going to be forced to play as somebody else. And that's a bit of a spoiler in and of itself. So then, like, what would you say? Like, I don't know. For what the hell was that? Anyway, hold on, focus. I prefer this on PC for obvious reasons. You can move the cursor around way quicker. Yeah, how would you even describe that? If something really bad happens, but like what if they mess up and that's the really bad thing? So, I don't know. Basically, I think I deleted the document. I would love to like see what I said. And I just realized this is not the mission I was thinking about. You're still basically just fighting through a bunch of enemies. Oh! Oh my god, am I bugged? No, I'm good. I'm good. Again, you gotta watch out for that charge ability. It will set you up in the geometry in ways that you don't want to be in, at least in the original version. But yeah, I basically told him that, you want to be thorough in scanning, but you don't need to be too thorough. You want to make sure you get all the loyalty. I straight up told him what upgrades to get, because I didn't worry about that being a spoiler. I told him what ship upgrades to get to make sure no one dies on a suicide mission. And I told him, I straight up, and since he had played through the suicide mission before, I told him, I didn't tell him, I like included a link to a suicide mission chart, decision chart, like what squad mates to choose for what decisions, and again, I don't recommend using that if you've never played through Mass Effect 2 before, but if you've played through it, then, don't bother, you know what I mean? Then just you can use a guide if you want to, but yeah, so I just sent him that, and he ended up getting like a perfect Mass Effect 2 playthrough. Again, we didn't get to play through all of the DLC, but nice. I like that. Like the AOE effect it has. I do believe this is not the lane we want to go down, or like to advance. This is just for these power cells here. But yeah, so I eventually got him to play through the trilogy, so it was worth it. And I just liked playing Mass Effect 1. So. Yeah. Let me go here. Come on. I'm like mashing the button, which is why I think she keeps saying that. Oh, watch out, watch out. Now, part of me recalls the charge ability. Does it purge my shields when I do that? Or is that only in Mass Effect 3? Let's find out. Yeah, I think that, yeah, that's only in Mass Effect 3. So we want to be popping that as much as we can, as long as it doesn't pull us too far away from cover. I think in Mass Effect 3 they nerfed it by making it purge your shields, but they added a what the? Oh, okay, the damage indicator was a little off there. I really should be using my shotgun actually. There we go. Now I'm playing like a Vanguard somewhat. What the? Just walk past this guy. Oh man, my recharge time on that is way better than I thought it would be. I don't know the specific number. Oh, they explode, I forgot. Yeah, they added an ability that, run. Yes, Miranda, I've noticed. Thank you. Guys, the guys had my back. Oh, this shotgun's so bad. Oh, can't wait till I get the Eviscerator. Or the Claymore. Well, actually, I don't know if we're gonna go. No, I'm gonna go for the Cane once we get to the Collector ship. Or Derelict Reaper. Not the Collector ship. That'd be way too late. I only have one shot here. Switch to my heavy pistol. Okay, I think that's it. And we don't even need to fight our way back. I think once we get to the main spot and do what we need to do, i.e. probably press X on some sort of console, as per usual, I think we get like a exit cinematic. Okay, I'm just trying to keep track of time here. I don't want to go too long, just because I am uploading this as a video. Quick hack. Guess I was wrong. I apologize, Mass Effect devs. It is not just simply pressing a button. We also have to do this hacking mission. Great. Oh, it's not done. Why did I think it was done? Again, the perils of doing an early morning stream. Yeah, they get Phantom Menaced, I guess you could say. Star Wars 1, where, you know, Anakin like destroys the mothership, so then all of the droids that were about to kill all his friends magically deactivate. Also, you could call it the Avengers 1. Did I mention that I always like close out right when the music does that? Because it's like it's such a corny, like, it doesn't feel like Mass Effect to me. It feels like such a corny piece of music, like a little instrumental there. I always just like press it right on the drop. I don't know why or when I started doing that, but I just did. Okay, now that we're right before heading to Omega, I'm gonna go ahead and do like a cursory Normandy sweep. I don't expect any of my teammates will have anything new to say. Okay, this was just notifying us of the mission that we unlocked by doing the first one. Yep. Finch. Okay, if you watched through my Mass Effect 1 playthrough, we did our background side mission, and I have chosen Earthborn, and the Earthborn side mission is on the Citadel is when you encounter Finch outside Cora's den, and he asks for your help, and you basically like refuse to help him. Well, I did because I'm a Paragon, but he's emailing us now, And he's basically telling us he had a family, and he's basically saying, go get him. Go get him. Even though we did not leave on the best of notes in Mass Effect 1, he's put that to the side. And, you know, he's realized that human colonies are in danger, and he's definitely pro-human. So, it's a nice little email for immersion there. And these, like, they added these ambient conversations, which is amazing. I'm glad they added those in this game compared to Mass Effect 1. Just because it makes it feel more alive. You know what I mean? It also adds to that weight, you know, once the crew gets abducted and literally everything is empty except for your core squad members. You know what I mean? So really great addition. Let's see if these jokers have anything to say.
Commander.
Don't believe I talked about this.
So, how do you think we're doing?
Normandy's not as ready.
Okay, this is like a permanent dialogue option, and it's just kind of like a cute little way they added to check how your progress is. Like if your ship upgrades are up to scratch, and if your squad members are, if you have enough loyal squad mates, I believe. Like once you get enough loyal squad mates, that his answer to that question switches to something like, our crew is as ready as they'll ever be, they're dedicated to you, something like that. You know what I mean?
What do you think about the people we're picking up?
Well, about the ones you went out
Oh,
with.
yeah.
I would never say anything against Miranda and expect to survive the reprisal. Jacob is way too nice a guy for the number of ways he knows how to kill people. It's just my opinion, though. There's really no need to spread it around.
Yeah, that's another permanent one where if you do that, Joker will comment on the previous 2 squad members you chose on the most recent mission you did. And he doesn't have varying, like, multiple comments per squad member. It's one comment per squad member, but depending on who you took, he'll say a funny comment. So I'll try to remember to say that as much as possible to at least get, all those funny comments out there, because some of them are pretty hilarious. I think he says the classic, Garrus has a stick up his ass or something.
Ever think about the old Normandy?
This one never changes though.
Yeah, those seem like the good old days now, but come on, it was hell at the time. Geth, Saren, Sovereign, and then we got dumped. We're stuck in a weird place, sure, but back then it wasn't all sunshine and bunnies.
What happened to the rest of the old crew? I heard most survived.
Almost did.
Yeah, she looks so good.
The rest of us
Always forget. Like I really like having this face in Mass Effect 1 and 2 now.
I don't think they liked all the non-human. We were your team, Commander. With the Normandy destroyed and you gone, there wasn't much keeping us together.
Oh, hello. We got someone in the chat here. Gibbs-O-Matic. Thank you for joining. Left 4 Dead terms coffee is painkillers, but water is a health kit. Oh, nice. See, yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about. I've actually never played Left 4 Dead. I know. That's one of those games, like, how have you never played Left 4 Dead? Did you not have friends? Yes. The answer is yes. I had maybe 2 friends I could play with it, but not enough consoles. We were not the most well-off family. We didn't have enough to, like, buy multiple PS3s per child. You know what I mean? Was it on PS3? I think it was on Xbox, actually. And in that case, we didn't have Xboxes. But
I really want a chance to put the Normandy through her paces. I just had to trim up the drive output, and it'll be like we never lost her.
Safety standards advise against manipulating drive settings while engines are powered and in use, Mr. Moreau.
Commander, can we shut this thing off? I don't need it in my day-to-day.
cool little banter with them.
I'm no fan either, but we're stuck with it.
I just say that just because it's like the top option, but eventually our shep will come to like Edie.
Understood?
Yeah, don't break the boss's toys.
That's it for now.
See
Cool.
you, Commander.
All right, moving on. We don't have too many squad members, so this should be fairly quick. I don't believe Dr. Chakwas or Rupert has anything to say. I think most of their dialogue is exhausted once you complete their side mission they give you.
Commander, can I help you with something?
Gotta be careful not to romance Jacob. This is, again, kind of like a Joker comment I mentioned previously. These two, I mean.
I understand you may.
Miranda saved the city. The whole thing was hushed.
Sorry, Jacob.
But I know.
I'm more interested in.
Sounds good. Have to say we keep on track and maybe we'll. Is there something specific? Or are you just checking in?
I like to know my crew.
This is safe to say.
Informal, huh?
Safe as in like not romantic.
Everything's in my file. Ex-Alliance like you, no Reapers or anything, but I got swept under the rug too. The more good you do, the less they want to.
Not sure if you're still in here, Gibbs, but I just want to say I'm new to this whole streaming thing, so if you commented like 20 minutes ago, I guarantee I didn't see it. I didn't see it until now. I don't know how, because I think I was talking about that like a long time ago. So I apologize for not commenting on that. I got to get better at checking the chat every now and then. But yeah, thank you for joining.
What led you to
The Alliance sidelined me after Eden Prime. Ended up on a job with Miranda that Cerberus treated
You
like.
don't seem
Again,
like a-
sorry, Jacob fans, again, if you exist, but I'm skipping through.
Cerberus keeps that line, I'm on their side.
What was your proudest?
A Batarian
Skipping through his dialogue here.
weaponized virus and kill the council.
Strange that it wasn't bigger.
So it never happened. Like you and the Reaper.
Okay, this is definitely romantic. Because let's be real. If there's one thing you can admit about Jacob, even if you don't like him, it's that he's freaking ripped. So that's definitely true. And since I'm a FemShep, that's definitely a comment. So we will go with this.
You make no apologies for doing what you had to. I admire that.
I couldn't go back to the Alliance. Did you know? Guess you didn't focus test right. Perfect example of humanity, and they still dumped you.
Gonna go with this.
Boil it down, Jacob. I hope you keep a better attitude.
Oh,
on
my
it.
stomach is rumbling. Gotta eat
Don't
something
worry,
soon.
This is exactly what I signed on for. If that's all, Commander, I'll get
Is
back
that like a... I don't even know if that's like a
to get ready.
thing. Do people eat snacks while streaming? I mean, some do. I can't imagine the crunching or whatever or chewing noises is that pleasant though. So I just figured I wouldn't, but I might have to because all of a sudden I'm like super hungry. Haven't eaten breakfast, obviously. Let's go ahead and head down to crew's quarters. That's that, by the way, is just like an example of how I'm going to be going through these conversations. If you don't know, or if you didn't watch my Mass Effect 1 playthrough, since I've played through this game several times, I'm not going to listen to everything they have to say, even if I like what they're talking about and I like the squad members, just because, you know, I'm treating this as like it's not my first time, so I want to skip through any like non-essential dialogue.
What exactly?
I'm the elusive. Aside from that, I send regular reports. The crew's working well, and the ship appears to be performing.
have a
Of
minute,
course. I'm just
Okay.
finished. I'm impressed, Shepard. So far, things have gone exceptionally well. As Cerberus operations go, this is one of the best I've been a part of.
Yeah, this is definitely like a conversation, like canon-wise, I probably wouldn't talk to her about until maybe one recruitment mission, maybe once we get Morden. Because like we've literally done nothing, Miranda.
Maybe that's because
Not to
this
you,
is-
maybe.
I think we get some
Cerberus
Paragon
gave
for
me a
that
second
comment.
chance, Commander.
What did Cerberus do that made
Do you remember when I told you how I was genetic?
Okay, this is when tells us about her.
I ran away as soon as I was old
The
and
colors
weak.
are a bit different, like the saturation a little bit. Like the Cerberus, the orange on her Cerberus logo is a bit more like red. It's not like full on red. It's like red orange, much more than it used to be. I feel in the original version.
you seem capable of
My
defending
father invested a great deal in his dynasty.
I assume that
Of course,
Cerberus...
but I'm like, they see the bigger picture, and I feel like I.
Okay, skip
That's
through
how I
this.
first heard
Her
about
father's a
Cerberus through my
jackass.
father's connections.
Oh,
It's ironic. That's how I first
they
heard
switched.
about
They
Cerberus,
switched
through my father's
sides.
connections.
Mother's not in the picture.
He's
Yep.
How arrogant can you be? The man.
Talk about yourself like you're just...
Maybe. I
You
like
are
to-
who you are, Miranda. You don't need to make excuses for it.
That's easy for you to. The difference is you were great before we rebuilt you. I'm great because of it.
Your spirit and
That's kind of
personality.
you. I'm not sure I.
Yeah,
believe
she's been like conditioned. I really like Miranda. I love her so much. She's like, you know, there's a lot going on there that she just locks away because that's what she's been raised to do or forced to do by her circumstances growing up. You know, and because of you, you kind of help her tear down those Ice Queen like walls. You know, she doesn't ever become a softie ever, but she becomes more comfortable with who she is and opening up to friends. You know what I mean? I really like her growth. She's definitely a top tier character.
Thanks for your time.
Speaking of which,
I'll talk to
check
you
out my Mass Effect Squad Mate tier list video if you haven't. If I remember, I'll put that link in the description as well. But it's my most viewed video. It has like I think 500, almost 550 views, which again, to a small, like incredibly small YouTuber like me, is pretty dope. If I must say, like my next highest is like, I think 90 views on a FIFA video I did with my brother. So that video is killing it as far as I'm concerned. We are not going to bother talking to Rupert or Chakwas. We are finally going to get to Omega. We'll get a good introduction to the area. We'll see how long I go. I don't want to go over 2 hours. I'm going to be shooting for an hour and 45 minutes for these streams. And, you know, of course I would love to stream more or longer sessions or multiple sessions per day. But I just don't have the time because, again, I don't do this full time, obviously. I'm just doing this for fun. So I still have a life, a career, loved ones, things I got to do. So I'm going to keep it to an hour 45 to 2 hours. So we'll see what we can get done. We're definitely not going to get as much done as I would like. But part of that is because I had the whole intro in the beginning. I've been talking a lot about side stuff. And yeah, it's kind of been going at a really, really chilled pace, which is, I guess, kind of the objective I had initially anyway. So, but either way, we're going to be heading finally to Omega. So let's go ahead and fly over here. We're going to meet Zaeed, the DLC character. We're going to get... I'm going to try to get what... I'm going to get the Sarah-sized brandy for Dr. Chakwas and the FBA couplings for Ken and Gabby, if I can find them. I can't remember. I could have swore it, because I have a GX12 thermal pipe in my head, but I think that's for Mass Effect 3. For Ken and Gabby in Mass Effect 3. I think they wanted me to get a GX12 thermal pipe or something like that for them in Mass Effect 3. Because I have here FBA couplings, so I think that's what they want me to get them in Mass Effect 2. So I'm gonna try to get those if I can find them. I think those are gonna be in the market, and then Chakwas' Sarah-sized brandy is gonna be in the bar where Aria is. I have here that I wanted to get through Morden's recruitment mission. I think, can we do that in 20 minutes? I don't know. I don't know if that's a 20-minute thing. That's a pretty long mission. So I think we might have to save that for next session. Like, next session will be recruiting Garrison Morden. To get any new weapons.
Welcome to Omega. You're new here, aren't you? I can always tell. Allow me
Target.
Hello,
man.
Mocklin. I was just...
Leave, Fargate, now.
Oh, of course, Mocklin. Whatever she wants.
Blasted scavengers. Welcome to Omega, Shepard.
You know who I am?
Of course. We had you tagged the moment you entered the Terminus systems. You're not as subtle as you think.
You're just lucky we didn't have our stealth drives on.
As a dead stranger to Omega, I suggest you go to Afterlife now and present yourself.
Cut the attitude. I'm not here to cause problems for Omega.
Things explode around you, Shepard. You can't blame Aria for keeping an eye on you. Afterlife now.
Mocklin's very rude.
I'm receiving quarantine warnings about the slums where Dr. Morton Solus runs the clinic. Anticipate resistance at the transport station. I have also accessed messages between mercenary groups regarding plans to deal with the Archangel. There's a recruiting station at Afterlife that may have information on
Quick
him.
little update for the main two reasons you come here. The recruitment missions of Morden and Garrus. Yeah, pretty easy. It's not as big as it looks, for sure. The only part I kind of get confused on is like the back area. Like lower Afterlife and those like back neighborhoods or whatever, but everywhere else is pretty straightforward. Yeah, let's go ahead and recruit Zaeed. Just like Kasumi, Zaeed, he's already recruited. You just got to talk to him. You don't need to do a mission or anything. You get him in your crew, and they give you a loyalty mission right off the bat. I'm not planning on doing Zaeed's loyalty mission until later, though, because there is a morality check and I don't want to miss it. So I want to get as much morality as I can. But I am going to do it before Horizon. So we're currently in this section of the game where it's in between the prologue or introduction and then the first story mission. Because this section, you have to recruit, I think, at least 4 squad members until the priority Horizon becomes available. And I'm obviously going to do more than just 4 squad member recruitment missions. But I tend to save Zaeed's loyalty mission for the latter parts of this section. So we'll get to it soon, but we definitely have a lot of stuff we want to do before it.
I assume
I've done my homework.
He was hired by the Elusive Man because he's a good mercenary. Again, I like Zaeed, but you know, I'll be the first to admit he's not that he's not that deep. You know, he's pretty surface level.
my contact.
Tried to lead me on a chase all over the system. Easy.
Not many mercs.
This mission doesn't sound like good business.
Okay.
Good to have you, Zaeed. We have a lot to do.
That's what they tell me. I assume the Elusive Man.
Pretty sure he's supposed to try to run away and then he shoots him.
No. I guess he decided.
Okay, yeah, there's still more conversation. Okay. I was going to say, I remember vividly him shooting him in the back or the leg or something. But for whatever reason, it felt like the conversation was ending earlier. Yeah, he's kind of briefing us on his loyalty mission. I'll get into that once we get around to that. I'm just going to skip through it now.
Make sure we get that done.
Good. Get it out.
Yeah, here we go. See, and they even gave him like little like the hip shot, the iconic hip shot of like Han Solo, you know, because they really want to drive in. He's like a loose cannon, you know, mercenary type smuggler, space smuggler or whatever. I guess Han Solo is more of a smuggler, and Zaeed's much more of a mercenary, but kind of like that same ilk, you know what I mean? Okay. We got the come on, let me in guy.
Come on, let me in.
I just wanted to trigger that. Let's go. You know what? We'll go talk to Aria. Let's talk to Aria first before we head to the shops and stuff. Because ideally, I think the game would want you to kind of go here first. Got these punks. This is just a good Paragon opportunity.
No, just the ones who get in my face.
You see my gun. Do you really want to do this?
Fine. You're off the hook.
I'm off the hook. The fuck? Alright. They walked off this direction, but it's also the direction we're going. I know at least once you had to have like ran into somebody and be like, oh hey, how's it going? And then you're like, okay, see ya, and then you both start walking in the same direction. That happened to me all the time at college, man. You'd like run into a classmate or something, and then yeah. All right, this is the brandy for Chakwas. Yeah. We talked to Anto eventually, and there she is. Friggin' love Aria.
That's close enough.
They do a really good job of making her seem very badass. I love it. Come on, come on. That's cold. That's cold. She just and then they all lower their, didn't even say that, you know, stand down or something. She's just like, boom. Now that's power. That's power.
If you're looking for weapons, you're not doing a very good job.
Can't be too careful with dead specters. That could be anyone wearing your face.
I was told you're the person to talk to if I have questions.
Okay, I did not just look at her butt. Nope.
Depends on the questions.
You run Omega?
I am Omega.
Bit dramatic, but in her character.
But you need more. Everyone needs more something, and they all come to me. I'm the boss, CEO, queen, if you're feeling dramatic.
I'm not the one feeling dramatic. I didn't just go, I am Omega.
Don't fuck with Aria.
That rule gets mentioned in Mass Effect 3. Like, it doesn't get quoted, but Shepard, like, says something along the lines of, like, you know, I remember that. I remember Omega's one rule, or something like that, so. Really cheeky. I like Aria. She's pretty iconic for a side character. You know what I mean?
I like it. Easy to remember. If you forget, someone will remind you.
And then I toss your sorry ass out the nearest airlock.
Javik would be proud.
So, what can I do for you?
So she can give you a little bit more, I don't want to say intel, because you have all the intel you need to do the recruitment missions for Mordin and Garrus. But I guess more like lore / context. So we'll skip through those, but let's do the investigate things real quick. I am just gonna blow through this. You kind of get the idea of what she runs the place. She has resources. She's been here for longer than we've been alive.
Short answer? Whatever you need.
She only cares enough about people if they're useful to her. Oh no, I left. Shit. Okay. Yeah, we can talk again. Here we go, here we go.
What do you need? You and Happy.
This is about Archangel. She knows a little bit about him.
Really? That's assuming you can get to him. They've started hiring.
Sounds like that
They're
might be
using
Again, all of this I'll get into when we get to that mission.
I'm sure they'll sign you up. Unless they're at war, he's reckless.
Skip
and
through that. Okay, next.
See if you still feel that way when the mercs realize. Looking for Morden. I always liked Morden. Just if you really need
Yeah,
to
it says that
find him,
Morden's kind of crazy, but again, not much info there, and that's it.
no guarantee they'll let you in, of course. Thanks for the information. Yes. Just try not to bring the plague back.
Cool. That's it. Little introduction to Aria. We'll definitely be talking to her more. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, where are we at? Yeah, we got like 10 minutes left. Is there anything I can do? Oh, let's just do some of the side stuff here. Oh, wait, no, I need to go to the markets. Yeah, there's some side stuff at Omega that we can go through. I am not gonna do the recruitment missions. I'm gonna save that for next time, which I think is gonna be tomorrow. I think I'm streaming tomorrow as well. So we'll get to that shortly, but the recruitment mission shortly. But let's head to the market, see if we can get the FBA cup links. I don't think we have too many credits, but we'll just see what we can do. And then we'll just, you know, we'll talk to some of the NPCs here. I'm just kind of like looking at my camera. I don't know if I like the current setup I have. I might switch it around, but we'll just see. Like, I feel like it's too bright. Like, I'm more brown than what I'm looking at right now. You know what I mean? But okay, that's where we go for Mordins. We'll go there eventually. But I am interested in hitting these markets. I think this is Harrot, yeah.
Tentatively excited. Welcome,
Kinds of
Brent,
things.
with pride.
I have things to do.
Courteously. Have a fine day.
Okay, yes.
If you want to buy
Capacitor chest plate. Shield, I mean, that's kind of helpful. Terminus armor. Okay, I'm not going to bother with those. Time limit for hack, yeah, that's not necessary. Headshot damage by 10. I mean, it looks cool. That's one of the only headgear in this game that I actually kind of like. It's only 2,000. Yeah, let's just do it. It's not super useful because we don't have an assault rifle or a sniper. But, you know, we still have some heavy pistols or, you know, SMGs. Might get some mileage out of that. Equip that later.
I might have something here for humans. Not much.
I'm in the mood to spend some money.
Give me some
Better
discounts.
stuff elsewhere.
You won't find a better selection anywhere. Unless you're willing to risk black market.
I'd rather deal with you than give money to those thieves. You sure we can't make a deal?
Look, I'll do what I can.
Thank you. Okay, storm speed, Turian cruiser, I'll take it. Sniper rifle damage. I don't believe that's just for us. Yeah, for your entire squad. It's 50,000, and I think we find one of them eventually. Like, I really don't prefer the way Mass Effect 2 does weapon upgrades compared to Mass Effect 1 or 3. Like, I would rather micromanage, honestly, than because at least you have that control. But to get like weapon upgrades, whether that's damage or accuracy, you can't pick. You just come across them, and you come across them either in shops where you have to buy them for a tremendous amount of money, as you see, or you find them just lying around in missions. And the thing is, you cannot. There isn't enough, say, sniper rifle damage upgrades in shops to max out the sniper damage. You have to buy all of them in shops, and then also find all the ones that are in specific spots in specific missions. So basically, if I wanted to have maximum sniper damage for me and my squad, I need to buy this. I need to fork over eventually 50,000 credits at some point. They may have changed it, or I might be just completely wrong and I've just been living a lie, but to my understanding, that's how Mass Effect 2 works, which it's definitely way easier in terms of just acquiring them, I guess, than Mass Effect 1, but you lose a lot of control, I feel. Yes, I want me some Fornax. That's another, I don't like, why did I even look at that? That's like terrible looking. And then the Blood Dragon armor. This, I thought was DLC, and I thought came with the Legendary Edition. Because the version I had that I was talking about on the PS3, this was one of the random DLCs that it came with, but for whatever reason, not included. But I'm not too bothered, because honestly, if the helmet was not necessary, like you could turn it off, then I would like it a little bit, but even then, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's just a Dragon Age Inquisition reference as well. Which I haven't played, but it's basically a Mass Effect if it was Lord of the Rings. Which sounds incredible, but from what I've heard, it's nowhere near as good as Mass Effect. It's still a decent series if you're willing to, if you're wanting to check that out. But I've just never gotten around to it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can help this guy.
Credit goes toward a ticket to get me off this Forsaken.
I buy a lot of parts.
Well, you seem like a decent person.
Of course.
Then we have a deal. Maybe I'll at least
brought a nice
my
deal.
pilgrimage. You can see how that turned out. Harrod's forcing me to sell high, and I can't even
I
afford a
think
ticket on this station.
Harrod's the Elcor we talked to, and he's his boss, and he's like holding out. I think you can resolve this by talking to Harrod, but I also think you could just pay up.
How much do you
Like, I think if you have enough morality, you can convince Harrod to let Ken go, saving money, but you need morality. But if you have the credits, I'm pretty sure you can just pay.
Here you go. 1,000 credits.
Thank you. I'm going to buy my ticket right now. Thank you.
I like Ken. Quarians are, for the most part, like, the Quarians you encounter throughout the worlds are very likable. Very likable. The only, like, annoying Quarians are, ironically enough, the important ones other than Tali. Like, all of the Admiralty board members and stuff like that, they're they're basically like the council, the Citadel Council, if they were all Quarians. Yeah, I do want this upgrade. Oh no, heavy skin weave, that's huge, 75,000 though. Shotgun damage is huge as well. And the Maddock is an amazing weapon, but we cannot use. Oh. Yes. Yes. I did not expect the Geth Plasma Shotgun to be here. And for so cheap, it wasn't even 10,000. I'm definitely going to I'm not leaving here without that. And that does not come into effect until we get Morden and pay up the resources to upgrade it. That's another thing. You have to buy or find the upgrades, whether it's to armor, health, weapons, whatever. And then just doing that sends those upgrades to Morden's lab. And then you have to give like those scanning mineral resources to activate them. And that's kind of the system. Some people might like that. Me personally, I don't think it's all that great. But it's not so terrible that it just ruins my experience of the game, obviously. But I definitely prefer the Mass Effect 3 is my favorite system that they had in the trilogy for upgrades. But Mass Effect 1, I also just prefer that as well. But we're at 100,000, and I'm going to hold off on the heavy weapon ammo. That's really only important once I get the cane. But even at that, you still get a full shot, and you only need one shot with the cane. So I'm going to hold off on buying that. But I know I can come back here if I ever need these. Shotgun damage is great to have, especially if you're a Vanguard, but we just got the Geth Plasma Shotgun, so that's kind of like my upgrade for now. Really good stuff. You see, it says Heavy Skin Weave 1 out of 5. There are 5 total upgrades for that you can find or buy throughout the game. And we just got the first one, so. Okay. Yeah, we no longer need to talk to Herod. Or Herod. Herod? Where am I? There he is. Let's just see if he has anything to say about Ken. I can't remember. No. Nothing to say. Cool. So I'll just try to remember all that I have left that I want to buy here is at Ken's spot. Yeah, funnily enough, the most likable guy in this joint has the best stuff. So good on you, Ken. Good on you. Okay, we still have like a couple minutes here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to the lower area of Afterlife. And I think I want to go this way. Actually, I want to go through the main area. I think if you go to the lower section, I think you need like the VIP password, which we do not know yet. Oh no, I could have gone that way. I could have gone that way because there's a separate area for Samara's loyalty mission. And that's what I'm thinking about with the VIP password. I think we can just go here. This is locked because that's for Archangel recruitment. And then this is where we want to go. And here we have Helena Blake. Again, if you've watched my Mass Effect 1 playthrough, which I highly suggest, had lots of fun doing that. We did the Helena Blake mission in the Paragon route, so we did not have to kill her. So now, if you don't kill her, she shows up here in Mass Effect 2, and I think maybe you get an email in Mass Effect 3. I know for a fact she doesn't show up in Mass Effect 3. At most, you get an email or something. But here, she says she's gone straight, working in philanthropy. You can miss that part of the conversation if you end it too early, though. So I'm going to make sure I exhaust all of the dialogue options here.
What brings you to Omega?
I find this place suits me.
And now you're on Omega.
Oh, no. You convinced me to turn my life around.
That seems like a hope.
Yep.
Doing the good work in a place like this requires that one
That's more noble than I
she's
expected.
turned her life around, thanks to us. No longer in criminal activity.
a few years ago, and you convinced me
Yeah.
that I could
Cool.
use my contacts.
All right.
and skills.
Good for you, Helena.
Thank you. This is all to your credit, Commander.
I said thank you.
Of course.
I said goodbye and then she thanked me and then I had to say goodbye again. That was weird. Okay. And yep, that was Helena. Good for her. Just another way to make the player feel like, you know, they're not wasting their time and with these side missions and doing them all, you know. Okay, this is what I wanted to do. This is what we're going to be finishing off with. Yeah, we just did Omega Struggling Quarian, which I wasn't planning on doing until next time. Yeah. Okay. Oh, the FBA couplings. I can't remember where we get those. I'll get into that next time. I'll remember to do that in the next session. Because I honestly don't remember. I might have to look that up. I don't remember where we get those. But last thing we're going to do is Batarian Bartender on Omega. This guy attempts to kill us. And then we get our revenge, depending on what morality we are. So he's a Batarian, which... You know, Mass Effect lore, Batarians do not like humans, and vice versa for the most part. I mean, Shepard typically, unless you're Renegade, you know, doesn't mind Batarians. Yeah, he tries to... He basically poisons any humans that come to his bar. And only the lucky ones survive, or like the ones with high constitution survive. This guy tells us about the guy. Not Afterlife, just him.
Me and my friend Jake went there to celebrate. Be careful.
Yeah, he lost his friend to this jerk. Like that guy's a scumbag. The Batarian is just a complete scumbag. Oh my god. Do I go here? Where does this go? So up there on the other side was the marketplace. Yeah, that's the VIP entrance. Yeah, okay. This is where we go for Samara's loyalty mission. Which we will not be doing for quite some time. We still have a lot to do before we ever get to Samara's loyalty mission. We're gonna head back to him, the Batarian. And yeah, here we go. We can go here. We're gonna give him what for? Renegades, you can kill him. I'm pretty sure. No, I think we do kill him if we're Paragon. I can't remember what the outcome, what all the outcomes are. I know you can kill him. I think you can like peer pressure him into drinking his own poison, and he like dies. I think that's a Renegade though. I think Paragon, a Turian comes up and murks the guy. I think. We'll see. We'll see in a moment here. Oh, my sprint duration. Like, I don't care about sprint speed. Like, increase my duration. I'm back, you punk. I was about to say bitch, then I switched it to punk, and it came out as bunk. Oh, here we go.
What do you think these people will do when they find out you're poisoning your customers?
Poisoning what now?
This has nothing to do with you.
Who's next? Turians? You don't like them either, right?
Answer the damn question, Forvan.
You want a piece of me? I'll leave your corpse with a fortune.
There we go.
Not taking any chances.
Cool. I got some nice Paragon XP, classic Mass Effect side mission reward, but that is it in terms of side missions. I think the only side mission we have left on Omega, I think there's two. Yeah, there's two side missions that we haven't done yet. One of them you can't do until you do Garrus's loyalty mission, Garrus's recruitment mission. And then the other one you don't get until after one story mission, one or two story missions, I think. So we will focus on doing the recruitment missions for the next session. We're going to be doing Morden. We're going to get Morden, and then kind of talk to him on the Normandy, and then we're going to get Garrus back, and obviously get him acclimated, and that'll be our main section of Omega. And then I'll of course do, just like I mentioned, I'll do the really quick side mission. And since we're a Paragon, it is a really quick side mission after we get Garrus. But we're going to focus on finishing up Omega, and then heading to the Citadel next mission. So yeah, lots of good work done today. I'm trying to remember all that we did. Yeah, we did like 3 N7 side missions, and got introduced to Omega. Did a lot of Omega side missions as well. So lots of good work done. Lots of planet scanning done. And yeah, next mission or next session we're gonna get Morden. We're gonna get Garrus, and then introduce ourselves to Mass Effect 2's Citadel. So thank you guys all for joining this stream. If you hopped on live, or if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you again for stopping by there and watching. I will remember to add my link in the description below again for my face reveal and channel update video, as well as links to my previous episodes and whatnot. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I feel like this was fun. It was new. I felt a little bit different playing through and commentating, you know, because like usually I'd be playing through this and just kind of talking to you guys in the past. You know, I'd be like talking, not live basically. I had to like, you know, be more genuine and candid, I guess. So it was really great. I had lots of fun doing this, so really enjoying this. And yeah, I guess that's it. Am I forgetting anything? Yeah, I mean, this is going to be going up on my YouTube channel within the next day or two, and I will be streaming again tomorrow night and just keeping this Mass Effect train rolling. So again, thank you all for joining, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.